Sorry, y'all. I'm under the desk 100%. I was not ready. YouTube. Sorry about that. Hold on. I usually go live at the exact same time on Facebook and whatever this is, YouTube, and I messed up. Nope. Hold on. I'm all frazzled. Hold on. Guess I could stop it, couldn't I? Hi. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Baby Lucy wants some milk. Okay, we are plugged in. We have notifications off. The YouTube video is going to be a minute longer than everything else. Okay, here we go. Hold on. Do I have notifications off? We'll call it good. Okay. I didn't have my... Jeez, this cord's going to be annoying. Okay. Hold on. I don't have my notebook. Where is it? Nope. You need to go ask Daddy. Okay? Thank you, sir. But seriously, y'all, I'm a hot mess today. Oh, it's right there. Hello. Okay. I'm going to get it together. I swear. Hi. Sorry, I went live on YouTube a minute before I went live on Facebook because I just screwed up. I just hit go live and I'm a nutbag. Sandy, thank you so much. I am feeling really well. I'll tell you a little bit about it in just a little bit. I had surgery a while ago, a week and a half ago. Hold on just a second. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Hey, what happened?
Great count. It's a little crazy in there. Not my problem. Okay. Welcome to Online Steps to Success. I'm getting it together. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you something. I've always said that, so we do this live every Tuesday night, and I have always said that I will only do it as long as I feel like I have something to say. And I told Brian the other night, I'm like, maybe like I need a little break. I don't know. Oh, this dog is going to kill me. I don't know, like if I felt a little off the past couple weeks, So anyways, I told him the other day, I'm like, maybe I should take a little break. And I may take a break. But today I really did think in the middle of the day, like, I don't have anything. I don't have anything. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have anything to say, and I don't want to get on and waste anybody's time. And then all of a sudden in the middle of the day, it just came to me. And so I'm really excited about what we're talking about tonight. It's not super like you're going to walk away with an exact thing to do so much as a perspective. And so hopefully it will be helpful to you. So I'm excited that you're here. Welcome to Online Steps to Success. I'm making myself one note. Okay, let's get started. All my YouTube live people are like, we've been started for a very long time. Yes, we have. Almost 4 minutes. So welcome to Online Steps to Success. My name is Allison Dalkey. I am so glad that you're here. I have been in the Scentsy world for almost 11 years now, I guess 10 and a half, and have been a Superstar Director for 10 years. So, almost 10 years. When I hit 11, it'll be 10 years. So 10 and a half years. Oh, shoot. I forgot to flip my screen. So I was telling him a second ago I went live on YouTube before I went live on Facebook. And I usually do it at the same time, but I just got frazzled. And so I was hurrying to get Facebook going, and then I forgot to flip my screen. So I usually flip it so that you're seeing it the right way, where like everything reads the right way, but you're looking at it backwards tonight, I guess. So whoever said that, you're very observant. Very observant to notice that the books are backwards tonight because I forgot to flip the camera. So that's okay though. So tonight I'm very excited about what we're talking about. This is something that is kind of always on my heart. And it's kind of become a little bit of my mantra. And so not mantra, but just sort of my rally cry. I don't know. We'll get there and I'll tell you. Before we do that, again, online steps to success. See, I'm kind of out of it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'll get it together, I swear. We meet here every Tuesday night because we desperately want to help you. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight on this Tuesday. The real question that Risa says, how do you flip the camera? So when you're on Facebook Live, I can? Okay, I'm gonna walk you through it then, I guess. So when you're on Facebook Live, there is a little fairy wand. I don't know what this is. Looks like a fairy wand to me. Sorry, YouTube. It's a wand. You click it. It's in the bottom left-hand corner. Oh, there it is. And that's where you get your like faces. Like if you wanted to do like a weird face. Sorry, YouTube. You totally could. Look. Ooh, look at that. There's a Scentsy thing. Here's me in the fall. Oh, look good with those glasses. Yeah, that's where you can do all those things. But it's also, you can click the little screwdriver and the wrench, and then you can flip your camera. There you go. Thanks for whoever said I could do that still. Duh. Okay, all better. See, that's how you do it. Okay. Oh, YouTube, can y'all hear me? I forgot to plug my mic in. I've had trouble when I don't have my mic in on YouTube, but I guess you can hear me because you're talking to me. So, okay, great. So we are on YouTube Live and we're on Facebook Live, which is super fun. Maybe we'll be on Instagram Live one day too. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm glad that you're here. Tonight we're going to talk about where your business fits in with your life. And one of the reasons we're going to talk about that is because I feel like this is one of the things that hangs people up in their business sometimes. And it's one of the things that really, like, from what I can tell, it's one of the reasons people walk away sometimes. And I think if we're not intentional about fighting for where your business should be in your life, that it can be really, really harmful. So I tried. The dog keeps opening it. Okay. Do what you got to do. I will. There's my man over there fixing all the things. It's 11 a.m. in Australia. Mostly, I want to come to Australia because I just love the way all of you talk. And because you're my friends and I want to come see you. But gosh, I love an Australian accent. It's like my favorite. It's very much my favorite. Speaking of accents, I'm in Oklahoma if you couldn't tell. If you haven't heard it yet, you will. I'll say y'all 75 times. So let's talk a little bit about how we fight for the right place in our business and our life. This is what I've seen in my experience, and this is what I have personally experienced, is there have been seasons of my business when I have absolutely let things get out of order. So let's talk about what the order should be. First of all, your faith should be the very first place. Kate, congratulations on that beautiful baby girl. Oh my goodness. I'm swooning over your baby video. Are you kidding me? Fantastic. I wish I could hold her and snuggle her. Precious. Congratulations. Okay, I'm sorry. I just saw my friend Kate. And then she just had a baby. I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. So I have been in a situation definitely where things were out of order. It's a very, very unhealthy place. And what's interesting to me is the more I've done, the longer I've done this and the more people I've coached, the more that I have seen that sometimes the hang up for people, sometimes when people really get stuck, it's because they have things out of order. So here's what I mean by order. A lot of people will say they want balance in their lives. They want things to work better, to feel better when it comes to like this big picture of life. And this is kind of a big picture talk or chat or whatever. When we look at the way things should be placed in order in our lives. Your faith should be first. Your marriage should be next. Some people would say your kids should be next, but Brian and I would very strongly disagree that your marriage has to be next. Then your children, your family, right? And then your business. And it is so easy to let those orders slip and slide and move around. And I desperately think that the right order is something we have to fight for. I also think that the right order is something that changes your business. It absolutely can change your business. But you have to be the one to fight for it. I love a hard worker, and I love somebody getting up and doing what they say they're going to do and taking the action to move their business forward. But what I don't love is an overworker. And it is so easy to accidentally become an overworker. It happened to me, and I think it happens to a lot of people. I've seen it happen to a lot of people. So how do we fight to keep that together? I'm going to give you a few tips, but I want to tell you a little bit about my story. And I've shared most of this very often. I always say that Cincy almost destroyed my marriage. And not Cincy, that's not fair. That's not a fair statement. But some of you who are in that place, you will understand what I mean by that, right? But my business and the way that I was running my business almost destroyed my marriage. But it also enriched my marriage and saved my marriage and changed my marriage in a lot of ways. And I'm going to kind of tell you how that happened. So when you find yourself in a place where you are not putting your spouse before your business, or you're not putting your kids before your business, or you're not putting God before all of that, you will find yourself run down, overwhelmed, and feeling out of balance. When we talk about balance, right, we feel like it's all out of whack when we have things out of order. I don't necessarily think life is about balance. I think life is about order and putting things in the order that they deserve to be put in. So when we have things out of order, when we find ourselves putting our faith on the back burner, ignoring God, disregarding or skipping church at times, or whatever it might be. And I don't think you have to go to church to be a religious person. That's not what I'm saying at all. But whatever your faith journey is right now, when you're not putting that before your business, you feel like you're out of balance. The same is true for your marriage. When your marriage is not coming before your children or your business, it's getting pushed to the side, you feel like you're out of balance, right? This all falls in line together. So we're trying to give equal parts to everything. If you just look at those four things, you look at your faith, you look at your marriage, and if you're not married and you don't have kids, disregard. Then obviously your faith needs to come first and then your business, okay? So if you don't have one of those pieces, you skip to the next one, okay? Obviously. Or your family. If you, obviously, most people have some sort of family, that goes before your business. Okay, good. So when you get those things out of order, or when they're not in the right order, that's when we feel out of balance. But like I was trying to say before, it's not that they all need the same amount of time and the same amount of space and the same amount of energy. That's kind of what we think about in balance. Like if I wanted to balance everything together, right, and it's on a scale, then they would all weigh the same, right? Everything would be given equal time and equal energy, but that's not necessarily how it works. It's more about what order we put things in. What order are you putting things in your life? And you have control over that. You have control over serving your spouse before you serve your business, over serving your family before you serve your business, over serving yourself. Patty, preach all day long. Yes, self-care has to go before your business too. And that's where we see people get burnt out and worn out and walk away because they're not taking care of themselves. I had a really beautiful and inspiring conversation today with a couple of my leaders. And one of the things that we were talking about is how when we get stalled out in our business, or when we stop, or we find ourselves in a place where we're not growing the way that we want to, or we're not moving the way that we want to, a lot of times it's not necessarily about the actions that we're doing or not doing in our business. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you're doing the wrong things, or saying the wrong things, or wasting your time, right? Sometimes it is that. But sometimes it's that there's something that you need to take care of, that self-care that you need to deal with. It's that there's something inside you that needs to be taken care of before your business can go to the next level. It's so vital that we get the order right. And I promise you, when you can start to put the order right, then you will start to feel more balanced, right? I heard Orville one time give this beautiful talk about balance, and he said something about, he was talking about the same thing, like the balance doesn't exist, right? We want things to be balanced, but this ideal of balance really doesn't exist. But what does exist instead is this beautiful orchestra. And the way he described it is, it's just like our life is an orchestra. There are seasons and there are times in the middle of a song when parts of the orchestra play stronger than others. The strings play here, and then they fall back. And then the percussion, this is how much I know about orchestra, not a lot. I don't know. Then the percussion, right? And then they fall back. And then sometimes it all comes together at the same time, and we hear everything playing at once. But it's not about it all always being at once. There are seasons and times when some things will come to the front and some things will come to the back. But when you can shift your thinking from, I need everything to be balanced in my life, I need equal time and equal parts to everything, when you can take that and instead shift it to putting things in the right order, I think you'll have a lot more peace in your soul, with your business, with your spouse, with your kids, with everything. It's about order, not about equal space and time. Does that make sense? I hope that what I'm saying is making sense. Brass wind. Melanie, thank you so much for giving me more orchestra terms. Yes. So there's times when the things play different. Good. That's so great. That's so great. Yes, a symphony. Heather, that's probably the better word, is a symphony. I think that's what he was saying. That's what he said. See, I already screwed up his talk, but you get the point, right? That instead of this search for balance in our lives, I think that's what we're looking for. When you lack that peace, or when things feel wrong, then you think, God, I just need more balance. I need things to be a little bit more even. And it's not even. It's order. It's taking the time to make sure that we're putting our life in order. I want to share with you something I heard today on America's Got Talent. I love this show so much. It's something I watch with my kids. They love voting. We do every summer. We watch America's Got Talent, and there's this incredible violin player in the like right now on the show, and his name is Brian King Joseph, and he is truly an amazing violin player. Like it's beautiful and breathtaking to watch. Like you're captivated. Like looking at him, you're like, this is exactly what he was meant to do. But he has this nerve disease that is slowly taking the feeling from his fingers. And it's very obvious that this man was made to play the violin. And he said something tonight that I think I'm going to I'm going to tattoo it on myself or something. He said, playing music has taught me that you have to fight for who you're supposed to be. And I was like, holy cow. Talk about going to church, right? You have to fight for who you're supposed to be. It brought me back around to this conversation I had today with a couple leaders, and just the things that were going on and the things that we were discussing. And I cannot agree with that statement more. I think we all have to fight for who we're supposed to be. And when you look at your life that way, and you have that perspective, I think it's empowering and emotional. And I think it helps us take the steps to put things in the right order, right? We have to fight for who we're supposed to be. I believe that 100%. For those of you who are new or haven't heard all of my story, my mom is a 10 plus year breast cancer survivor, and she's also a BRCA1 and 2 genetic mutation carrier. Incredibly rare to have one or the other. Very, very rare to have both mutations. What that means is that the tissue in her ovaries and in her breasts lack the ability to fight off cancer cells. All of our cells have natural cancer fighting abilities. And when you're BRCA1 or 2 positive, you just don't have those in certain parts of your body. So if you have a high, if you have a family history of ovarian cancer, breast cancer, genetic testing may be something that needs to be looked into for your family. My mom's history of ovarian and breast cancer on her mom's side was just ridiculous, horrendous. And that's why our genetic counselor said, we probably need to get you tested. So she was tested. She carries both mutations. I was tested in my mid-20s, and I carry both mutations as well. So this has all happened, or in my late 20s, I was tested. I don't know. I was on a high-risk screening program for a very long time. Went through this kind of spiritual journey and decided to have a double mastectomy, preventative. Never had breast cancer, but my chances of developing breast cancer, based on their research of BRCA1 and 2 mutation carriers, was 85 to 87% over my lifetime. So December of 16, I had a prophylactic bilateral mastectomy. And then I had 3 more surgeries since for reconstruction. And then I also just had my ovaries taken out a week and a half ago for the very same reason that my ovarian cancer risk over my lifetime was in the upper 80s. And I just decided that I was going to do what I could to prevent it. I tell you that because I think walking that journey for me, and walking that journey while I was living, in the middle of my Scentsy business, was definitely one that changed me. And it was one that taught me, for one, how to put things in the right order, but also taught me just exactly what he said, that you have to fight for who you're supposed to be. And I thought, it's so bizarre how when you start to fight for the things that matter in your life, and you start to fight for who you are supposed to be, things fall into a better place, right? So I'm telling you all this tonight because I think it's time for you to fight. I think it's time for you to fight for the person that you're supposed to be, for the believer you're supposed to be, for the spouse you're supposed to be, for the mother or father that you're supposed to be, for the person that you're supposed to be. Sometimes that means putting your faith back where it belongs, in the first position of your life, putting your marriage back where it belongs, putting your children back where they belong, or your family, and putting you back where you belong, that you're taking care of you. Now, practically what that looks like for so many people is putting up boundaries. I heard a statistic, or I read something the other day about how the most successful people, and the most, not just successful, but people who are successful and happy, like successful, peace-filled, happy, those kinds of things, that those people have more boundaries than any other people. And we think of boundaries as bad things, right? We think of boundaries as rules and things we can't do and things we're not going to do, right? But boundaries even when you look at the Bible, boundaries are put in place to help us go where we're supposed to go, be who we're supposed to be. It's the same thing we do for our kids. We put boundaries in place to help them become who they're supposed to be. We as adults have to put boundaries on our business. We have to put boundaries on our free time. We have to put boundaries on our lives. And sometimes when we feel out of order, when we feel anxious, overwhelmed, even sometimes depressed, sometimes And I'm not saying that that's always what it is with depression. Sometimes you need something else, and that's okay. But sometimes it's because we have let things get out of order and we haven't put boundaries in place. And it's not okay. It's not okay for you to not put boundaries in place and not take care of who you are and who you're supposed to be. Now, me telling you to put things in order and me telling you to put up boundaries is not an excuse for you to not work. It's an excuse for you to work better. We are always trying to push you. I'm always trying to push you into working smarter, to working more efficiently, to making more money with less time. That's what boundaries help you do. If you know, all right, I can't respond to texts all hours of the day. I'm not going to have my phone in bed at night. It's not going to be the first thing I pick up in the morning. I'm not going to respond to text messages I get at 10 o'clock at night, whatever it is for you. When you put those boundaries in place, it makes you work smarter. It makes you think about the work that you're doing. It becomes more intentional. It becomes less mindless. It becomes more focused. And that's exactly what you want if you want to be a freaking kick butt business owner. Like, seriously, you have got to figure out where the boundaries are for you. Maybe that means it's time for boundaries on my phone. That's where it is for a lot of people. It's time for boundaries around social media. Because what's happening? We are creating idols out of things that have no value in our lives. Phones, social media. It's kind of crazy that most people get up to check what happened on social media the night before they do anything else. That's out of order. When you feel anxious, when you feel overwhelmed, when things are too much, it's not because you're lacking balance. It's because your order is out of whack. And you are the only person who can put it back in order. You're the only one. So maybe you need a morning routine. Maybe you need rules around your phone. What is it for you? Here's the thing I want you to wrap your brain around. If you want your business to go to the next step, you probably need to get some things in order. And you're the only one that can do it. You. Putting things back in the order that they belong. It kind of sounds ridiculously simple. It kind of sounds like, how's that going to work? I promise you, when you write the order out and you're intentional about it, that putting things in order will bring you so much more peace. I want to share with you very quickly something, and I think this is maybe the practical that you might need in your life. Several years ago, I wrote every day on my blog for a year. It was weird and bizarre. It was mostly like a journal, sometimes highly emotional. But the beautiful thing about it was our foster baby's entire story that was such a huge God story, like nothing I ever could have done myself, was documented through that. So it was really cool. But I tell you that to say, one of the things I used to do on my blog every Sunday was something called the Sunday 7. And it was my way of helping things get and stay in order. I was going to say maybe I can share my screen with you, but I can't. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So the Sunday 7, and it could be 8. Some people made it 8. But the Sunday 7 was my way of putting things in order in my business, in my life. It was just my way of putting things in order. But this is what it was. I would basically write out, and I called it the Sunday 7 because it's basically like the 7 areas of your life. So for me, those areas would be, I was going to look for a list so I don't screw it up. I mean, I can probably do it from memory. And we all pretty much have the same 7 areas. Found it. Okay. Faith, family, friends and relationships, work, which for me is Scentsy, health and fitness, money management, and downtime, me time, self-care, whatever. Those are what I would say would be the 7 most important areas of your life. I'll say them. I'm going to write them down for you, and then I'm going to show them to you. So faith, family. So this would also be marriage. If you're married, relationships, and I put friends. Then work. Look at that. Health and fitness. You can name these whatever you want. They don't have to be exactly like this, okay? Money, finances, whatever. And downtime or self-care, whatever. I'm going to show these to you. Maybe somebody already typed it, but I'm going to show them to you anyways. Okay, this is what it was. And what I basically would do is set one goal around every single one of those areas every Sunday. Sit down and say, okay, faith-wise, what do I need to do this week to just make sure I'm putting God first? Number 2, what do I need to make sure to do with my kids or my spouse to make sure that I'm putting those things in the right order, right? So I just found one. This was when Lucy was born, apparently. I just searched the Sunday 7 Allison Dalkey, and I found a blog post. So my goal was for faith in the Bible every day, intentional prayer time and journaling. Family, spend one-on-one time with each kiddo every day this month, even if it's just for 5 minutes. So that was the thing I was working on that time with those kids. Friends and relationship, lunch with a friend, and an in-house coffee dates with my Scentsy team. My work was sell 2,000 Scentsy and help 2 new people start their business. So this was like my Sunday 7. That was like my goals for September. This was just me finding it on the internet. Health and fitness was walk 3 times a week and start a lightweight workout. And there's a picture, so I must have just had a baby because Lucy was a tiny baby. This was 3 years ago. Heather put it's also AllisonDalkey.blogspot.com. That's where a year of writing is. I'm trying to switch it over to the other one. Money was schedule our monthly budget meeting, stay on top of business and personal accounts, and live on our budget. And then downtime was read every day, find space for rest, don't overdo it, snuggle that baby a lot, and enjoy the newborn life. It's only a season, soak it up. Newborn life, it's the best. I'm not going to have that anymore. That's okay. But basically what I did, and those were like my monthly goals for each area. But you can do the same thing I would do this every single week. And I still do this to a sense every single week. It's just not as like written out and structured. But every week I sit down on a Sunday. What am I doing this week to make sure that faith is number 1? What am I doing to make sure that my marriage is number 2, that my kids are number 3, that Scentsy comes after that, right? It's so, so vital. You're the only one that can put things in order. And you know how to do it. So hopefully what I hope that you got from tonight is that it's not about balance. It's not about giving everything in your life equal time and equal space. It's more about putting things in the right order. Sorry for the long dramatic pause. I was trying to get my words together. It's more about putting things in the right order. And when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel out of sorts, when you feel like things are not right, it's not necessarily because you're lacking balance, because let's be real, it just doesn't exist. It's because you're lacking order. And you have every tool in your bucket to put things in order. But you're also going to have to fight for the order, because you know it's going to steal away your time. Social media, the things that don't actually matter in the world. When we don't have boundaries in place, when we don't set out to put things in order, we will find ourselves overwhelmed. We will find ourselves feeling like life is too much. So use a system like the Sunday 7 or putting boundaries. If you don't have any rules around your phone, it is time to have rules around your phone. None of us, you know what? It's so freaking addictive. None of us have enough like self willpower to know that we can't always be on our phone. I know that we feel like we can, like we feel like we're adults and we should be able to, but we can't. We need rules and we need boundaries and we need guidelines because it's addictive on purpose. Social media created to be addictive. The games you're playing, the things you're looking at, the videos you're watching. Did you notice they just keep playing and playing and playing? They're made to waste your time. They're made to steal your purpose. They're made to keep you from being who you're supposed to be. You have to fight for the person that you're supposed to be. And that will happen with boundaries and by putting things back in order. Put them back in order. It's all in your hands. You get to choose. I really hope that this was helpful. I will say this. Some of you are saying, like, I want to do those things, but I struggle with the time. Like, I'm afraid, whatever. This sounds crazy. But when you intentionally decide to put things in the right order, when you start putting God first or your faith first or whatever, wherever you're at in your journey, when you start that step first, and then you put your marriage next, and then your kids, and then your self-care, and then your work, right? You will see that it's not about time so much as it is about order. You have to choose to put things in order. I love you guys a lot, and I hope that you take this and you decide to say, I'm putting things in order. I'm going to fight for the person that I'm supposed to be. And then you hold yourself accountable to it. And maybe you need to tell somebody else. Maybe you need to share with your spouse, hey, here's what I want to work towards. My goal this next week, these next 2 weeks, this next month is to put things back in order. And here's what I want that to look like. And it'll look different for all of you. But share that with someone so they can help you hold you accountable. And it's not about perfection, because you're not going to get it right every time. It's about progress. So it's about finding progress in the order that you put things in. It's about progress towards, let's say, 3 days out of the 7 this week, I really put my faith before anything else. 3 days out of the 7, I put my spouse before my work. It's not about perfection. It's about making progress. And when we can make progress, we can move closer to who we're supposed to be. So I love you guys. And I'm just going to keep saying that. You have to fight for who you're supposed to be. Putting things in order will help you do that. Look at that, 37 minutes. I'm getting better, y'all. Getting shorter. If this was helpful to you tonight, would you share this with somebody, a friend, a Cincy friend, a sister, even just somebody that you think might need to hear it? I love you, and I hope that that you will now take the action to put things in the right order. Also, very quickly, those of you who are asking how you get tested for the BRCA1 and 2 mutations, it's a very simple blood test. Talk to your OBGYN or your doctor, but if there's cancer in your family, they'll want to start with the not oldest, but if your mother had cancer or your grandmother had cancer, let's say your grandmother, your mother, her mother, like there's a line of cancer. You want to start with the oldest living in that line. It all needs to be in the same line. That's an indicator that there's genetic things there, right? And then if that person is willing, because once they can find it in their strand, obviously I do not know a ton about all of that stuff, but once they can find it in them, the mutation, it's easier to find in the heirs, quote unquote. And just because my mom had both mutations didn't mean that I was going to have both mutations, or that my sister would have both mutations. Obviously you could, but hopefully that helps. So talk to your doctor. They can point you in the right direction and tell you if you are a good candidate or your family is a good candidate for that testing. So hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Go watch some America's Got Talent because it's really, really great. And I'll see you next week on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Central Time, and Wednesday for those of you in Australia. Thanks for joining us. Talk to you soon.